Guys, it's Matt, Reflections Vapor. Had a lot of people request a build tutorial on my Threeallel build inside the Aspire Atlantis. I'm going to go ahead and put one together for you. What you're going to need, I use 26 gauge Canthal. You're going to need 3 pieces about 6 inches long. You'll need some tweezers to squeeze the coil while you're heating it. A pointy tool of some sort to pack in your cotton after you've inserted it into the deck on the Atlantis Addy. Wire cutters, Japanese cotton, scissors to cut said Japanese cotton, some sort of pliers or something to grip your wire while you're torching it, and a torch. So let's get started. I'm going to get 3 sections, about 6. If you want 8 inches long, I'm going to go ahead and go a little longer this time. Last time I was just right on the cusp of the wire length to make my leads catch inside the Atlantis head. So I'm going to go a little longer. 2 and 3. Alright. Oh, you probably want something to wrap that coil on. 5/32 drill bit. That's about the diameter of the original Atlantis. Okay, so to remove the factory coil, or in this case my pre-existing parallel micro, take this plug out of the top, or out of the base of it. Then you got this rubber grommet here. You want to pry that out. There you go. You'll see the 2 leads. You see them right there. We're going to fold those in and push this whole thing outwards. I'm going to use my little pointy tool to help me get this out. Looks like it's going to come down easier this time than up. Either way, you're just going to want to pull the filler material and the coil out. There's my cotton. Go ahead and take this cotton off if I can, show you guys what's doing in here and what you guys are going to be building. Okay, so there it is. I don't know, can you see that? It's kind of focused. Focus. Doesn't want to, but that's essentially it. What you're going to do, take your 5/32 bit, take your 3 pieces of wire, try to straighten them out a little bit. They don't have to be perfect. We'll be working on them more with the torch after we get the wraps done. I'm going to take a break real quick. My fingers are covered in BG from taking off that wicking. I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, we're back. Got our 5/32 bit. There are 3 pieces of 26 gauge. We're just going to do parallel coils. I did 7 wraps. That makes it about the length of the original coil. This is the length of the original coil. I don't know, can you see? Yeah. Let's see if I can do a side by side. That's the original. This is the rebuild. Let's see. My fat fingers are not helping us with this side by side. There we go. So you see the original coil, see my micro coil. You could probably do 8, maybe even 9 wraps. Probably wouldn't hurt. Just if you are, hopefully you got a high-powered regulated wattage device. Like the Threeallel 100 or God Mod or something with 100 watts. It takes a little while to heat up even this coil with 100 watts. So I think that actually though benefits it as well, because you don't get hot spots as often when you're using that much wire. So I'm just going to take and do a 7 wrap parallel. Try to get them as tight as possible. It's not going to be perfect. We all know it takes some time to perfect your parallels. So go ahead and get 7 wraps on here. Okay, so we've got 7 wraps. Unfortunately, guys, this is the only camera I have. It's my phone. I'm in the worst possible part of Bella Vista, Arkansas, where we have no internet service, and so I couldn't upload it from my computer even if I used my computer. So here we go. 7 wraps. You're gonna try to tighten those down, just cinch them, pinch them together, try to get all the slack out of there you can. And take it off your bit, pinch it in some tweezers. We're just going to try to close the gap. Don't worry if they overlap right now because it's going back on the drill bit. We're going to just kind of gradually make this sucker balanced out. So it's good torching. Make it glow. Let's take some of the springiness out of the coils. Get them to be a little bit more conformed to the shape. And what we're going to do is we're going to do this like 2 or 3 times till we get those coils really nice and balanced. So, insert your drill bit again. Might be a little harder this time. That coil is hot, so unfortunately I've been building for so many years that my fingers have gotten pretty callous to the heat from these coils. Okay, back again. I was fighting the coil, so here I am. We've got it back on here. We're going to pinch that wire again and just cinch out and try to get this stuff nice and even again. If you have to, use your pliers. That's what I've ended up doing to kind of flatten out those coils, get them all nice and even with each other. And you're pulling that wire tight, torquing it as much as you can to get the tension out, get the slack out, and get those wires all laying nice and flat against your drill bit or whatever you're using to wrap the coil on. So, tightening it up. We're going to torch it again after this. This is going to take some of those different levels. I don't know if you've built parallel coils, you know what I'm talking about. Some of the coils will they don't necessarily overlap, but one will look higher than the other, and you just got to pull them tight and keep pulling them tight, pulling them tight, and pulling them tight until they all lay flat. And so back to the torch now. Actually ended up with an extra wrap there. I'm gonna keep it outside of my tweezers. I don't really want it. So, alright, torching it up. Okay, so we got it torched. I'm gonna be back with you guys after I get this thing a little bit cooled off. Alright, so we got it pretty level. It's nice and even. I'm going to take one of these wraps out. We're about to make the legs. So essentially we're going to take our top leg. This is the factory coil. We're going to take our top leg. Let's see if I can get this where you can see. Well, good grief. Alright, so we're going to take our top leg and we're going to bend it down. We're going to send it down to the end where it can go inside that head, the Atlantis head bottom portion there. And then we're going to turn the bottom leg straight down as well, so it'll go through the head. So for that, I've got some curved needle nose. I've also got a rounded pair. I won't use them just for the sake of less tools for you guys, the end users, to try this build with. But you're just going to try to pin that coil down with your fingers so you're not unwrapping all the work you've done with the torch, and just torquing that wire to where you want it as far as shape goes. But so we've got one down like that, and then to do this is a little trickier, but all in all it's pretty simple. What you do is you want to take that end of your pliers and just get right next to the drill bit, and torque down. And you may have to do this a few times and gradually torque down and down and down, and it'll eventually start falling to where it's laying level with the coil. So, just like that. Alright, so there we go. We've got the bottom lead facing down, the top lead turned down. Here we're going to snip these ends down. We don't need a lot of excess wire. I like it out of the way whenever I'm doing the wicking, which you have to do before you insert the coil into the head. So let's trim those off. You can use your other coil as a template as to about how much wire you need. So like, give it about a ½ inch past the end of the coil. So we kind of got it looking like that right there. Okay, now we're gonna wick it. What you're gonna do, I'm not gonna waste your time with it, but you're gonna cut about a ½ inch length off of half a sheet. Like I've peeled this sheet of cotton in half. If you have Japanese cotton, you've done this before, I'm sure. But then just take about a ½ inch off of it. So I'll be right back with a strip of cotton. Okay, so I've got myself some cotton. We're going to wick this now. I just leave the coil on the drill bit until I've got it mounted, and I'm about to put the plugs in to the addy head. That way it just keeps its form, less risk of damaging the coil or changing its shape that you've worked on. So you're going to take the wick, you're going to slide it up underneath your top leg, the one that bends down over the coil, and that just keeps you from potentially creating a short, letting that leg fold over and come in contact with the coils. And then I just pull it tight as can be on that coil. With an external coil, or a externally wicked coil, especially with this Atlantis, it's got excellent sized juice holes, so you don't have to worry about the density of the cotton affecting how it's going to wick. But just wrap that whole strip. I just used the whole darn thing on there, and eventually you're going to end up kind of looking like that. Shouldn't be able to see the coil at all. It should be wrapped on either side with cotton, and that drill bit also keeps your airflow open while you're tinkering with it. So all we can see, and actually you can't hardly see them on mine, but you can see the legs sticking out of there. Now we're ready to put it in the head. Now the head, I don't know if I can get you to see this or not. You see those two inner fins? The original builds have a little piece of fabric that goes inside those fins that are inside that cup. I haven't found a way or some sort of medium yet to put in there. It kind of gave me a hard time getting the wicking in, so just be conscious of those as you're trying to feed everything in, that the cotton doesn't catch on those fins as you're pushing it in. I'm going to try it a little different this time. I'm going to go from the bottom. Is just a thought I had, to push it up from the bottom instead of going from the top, and maybe I won't catch on those and drag my cotton everywhere. So going from the bottom, try to keep your cotton tight and fed in there. That's going to be the hard part. Try to screw it on, and this seems to be working. Screwing it as you're pushing it up seems to get it through there pretty nicely. So we've got our coil in. I can see the cotton poking out of the wick holes. I'm hoping it'll expand. It's actually really tight in there. We've got some space in between the cotton and the head there, so hopefully it'll blow up a little bit whenever we juice it up. Okay, now you can take out your drill bit and start working on capturing your leads. So one's going to go on the outside of the rubber cup, and you'll see that here. I'll put one on the outside of the rubber cup and one on the inside. So got that, and then we've got one in the middle. Oops, I forgot about that on these. Actually, these rubber grommets have one little nub. You can kind of see it there. That goes in one of these gaps on your cup head. So I trap the wires in that little gap and use the cup to kind of push them in there. And that just keeps you from having an edge sticking out that may catch on the connections inside the Atlantis and create a short for you. So, and then with these, the positives, you just kind of lean them over the edge of that rubber cup. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's not wanting to focus, but it's there. They're right. Let me get my pointer so my fat fingers are in the way. They're right there. Those are the wires, the positive wires. And we're just going to trap those with this metal plug. So, just got to get that thing to feed in there. Once it does, you're good to go. There. Oop. Dadgum. It's hard. You got a lot of wires in here when you're doing a 3-wire parallel build, but it does go. I've tested it, confirmed it. It works. There we go. We're in. There's the inside of your head. Doesn't that look pretty? Isn't it nice? Still got great airflow. We're going to prime. I got all my stuff and didn't bring any juice, so I'll be right back with some juice and we'll prime this thing up. Okay, guys, I got my juice, and I was looking, and there's still a really big gap in here on these holes for feeding the juice. So what I'm doing is I'm taking just little minuscule pieces of cotton, and I'm going to stuff those in there. I had some issues with my first build being really saturated. It wasn't flooding, like I never actually saw juice leaking out of the Atlantis, but it was very, very saturated. So I'm taking little tabs, and you could do this or not, this is kind of an extra step, but I'm taking little tabs of cotton and stuffing it in these juice channels, just so I can prevent it from totally flooding and or getting just a little too saturated. So just take your little piece, some sort of pointy tool, paper clip works, you don't have to have this particular item. And the ones with the sheath on the inside, I guess I'll use this syringe tip. I don't even know if it's going to fit in there. It's not really wanting to, so we'll just skip that. Anyway, so we've got it all built. You always want to saturate your coils before you start vaping on them. You can kind of see what's going on, what's doing in here. So, nice, clean looking. If you want, the Atlantis heads do come with this little piece of mesh. I really don't know what the purpose is, but I've left mine out. But if you just want it to look more like the original, you can always put that back in and have it look like the original. I just see it as more wire, more potential for shortages. It looks like it's stainless steel, so it's conductive and could cause shorts. So I got some awesome sauce. This is my personal bottle, so it's looking rough. It's been through the ringer. I just make the stuff 500 mils at a time and keep refilling my bottle. I'm a little obsessed with it, as a lot of you are that are fans of my awesome sauce. It's best juice in the world ever, and I'm not biased or nothing, but yeah, you're just going to saturate it. I do a little in the top, a little in the juice wells. Sorry, I'm getting a call from my mom. I'm going to clear that out. So what you do on these juice wells is I push down and just squeeze some juice in there, make it suck it up whether it likes it or not. And that makes it nice and wet. You can always blow out the excess. That's what I'm going to do now. And that just gets everything saturated, so we're not going to get a dry hit or burn that cotton and then have to re-wick the whole thing all over again. So I'm going to insert this in here. Put it on the Skelly 100. Make sure we've got good contact. So, coming out at 0.5 ohms. So, let's see how it's doing there. Like I said, it takes a while to come up because there's a lot of heat. That was at 50 watts. Now we're at 100. We're feeding it 7 volts, but you know, it's nice. It's about ideal for vaping. So I'm just going to put a little bit of juice in the Atlantis. Just something so we can do a little test run with this. Alright. Give it a couple primer puffs. Well, that feels good. I love the airflow on this Atlantis. I'm just blown away that we have come so far where a factory-built setup can provide so much airflow and decent clouds. It was just too cool for me, and the flavor was a little muted, so I figured I could improve on their build. I never keep a factory coil in, even if it's the best thing since sliced bread. I've just been building so long, it feels right for me to put my own build in it. So, that being said, we're all set. Let's give her a vape and see how she does. Dense, warm, flavorful, wonderful vape. I mean, I can't, that just blows my mind that it's coming from a tank. A single coil. Yes, it's a parallel, but that's a single coil. I'm even slipstreaming on it because it's got so much density. It's hitting me in the throat. I'm gonna have to start using 3 Nick and an Aspire in a factory tank style Addy. But anyway, a lot of people asked for it. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, just find me on Facebook, PM me, or just send a post to me. I'm happy to help. Just want to help everybody out. And find somebody that sells some Reflections vapor. I'm very passionate about my flavors. That's what I do for a living. And, you know, I love helping the vaping community. So with that said, thanks guys for watching, and we'll talk to you later.